So we wanted to have a chat about how stories we tell ourselves and the things that we've done over the last couple of years as a couple, and what it's meant for us relationship-wise. So I did the training for Crucial Conversations last year, I think, 2021, and started testing those strategies at home with Owen to start with, just in the way in which I approached his breakdowns as a 4-year-old has. But I guess over the time, we've implemented it naturally as we've spoken about it and learnt more about it. What has it been like for you in regards to, life?
Well, just having that awareness now that as humans that we have a tendency to embellish certain parts of the story or add little bits in that may or may not be true to make ourselves feel better or make our initial reaction feel more validated. And just to have that awareness now and be able to see things from the other person's point of view, because in any situation you've got a story on this side, a story on this side, and then in the middle there somewhere is the truth. So being in this space and doing this sort of work now has allowed us, and me particularly, to see things from the other person's point of view and realise that what I may have initially thought by adding little bits to it is not always the truth.
So it's like learning how to look for the fact first. So because we're storytellers as humans, so when a clash happens, and I mean we have them,
100%.
Especially around dishes and feeding fish or chickens. But and even just I think for something for us is like in high stress situations, you can think that your opinion, how you feel, is more important than how the other person is, or that you're completely right. And so for some people, that's a plane going over. For some people, and I know for me recently, we were going through quite high stress situations that were external from our own, feelings towards each other. But you can go back into those survival modes and those stories that you told yourself from your childhood or years ago before you started any of this type of work. So it's also having self-compassion when you do fall back into those patterns, and reminding yourself to simply look for the fact, because you know that your brain is going to go and tell yourself a story. But really, what is the fact in this situation? So if we're talking about dishes, and Paul might come home from work and the dishes aren't done because I've been working from home and the kids are home, or whatever the situation is, I just haven't been bothered to do them. And I guess as a scenario perspective, what sort of thoughts run through your head? Like, what's the story you're telling yourself in a situation like that?
Well, I can sometimes default to, look at poor me, I've been out working all day and I get home and now I've got to then clean up after everyone who has just been, lazy and couldn't be bothered. When, the story could be that our children, who can be, quite high maintenance at times and can be a little bit crazy, Rebecca could have work or other deadlines that need to be met as well, and having dirty dishes in the sink seemed lowest on her priority list for good reason.
And sometimes the fact is that I just didn't bother doing them. So sometimes the story, that the fact part in there is that the dishes weren't done. That's the only fact in there. What we bring to the table in that situation is completely different, and can be completely different on whatever day that we've had. So it's also, from my perspective, the story I'm telling myself in those situations is, well, I don't have to do them straight away, and just because Paul wants them done quicker doesn't mean that I have to be like that. And he gets to the washing before I do it. So if you don't think I do it good enough, just do it yourself. Like all these defense mechanisms, which I know are from experiences from childhood and what's been modeled over years. But it's also understanding that in that process, it's like, well, what does the other person need in this situation? And for Paul, having a sense of order in his environment, so you're going to do the environment pillar in the upcoming weeks, but understanding that for me, I need to understand that it's really important for him and for his mental health and for his brain to work and for him to make great choices, is that I need to try to respect that and to change some of the things that I do to ensure that what his needs are.
But on the other side of that too is that having such an orderly environment meant a lot different to Rebecca growing up than it did to me growing up. So, you know, there are bits from both of our childhoods coming together and sort of clashing at times. So that's why this work has been so good for us.
Yeah, and understanding how to structure a conversation, how to understand and have self-awareness about your own triggers and your own past. So that self-awareness is extremely important. And you can't do that work with anybody else. That's on you. As in, that work needs to be done by you, and you need to seek that and be real with yourself when it comes to that. And then it's about how you have those conversations, and that's where those crucial conversations, the structure of having a conversation in general about anything and testing out how you show up in those and how to get better at them, is only going to increase the relationships and improve them in work, home, wherever. So it was just a quick video just to give you an idea that instead of me talking on behalf of Paul's here, to give you just a quick experience of something that you might experience in your day-to-day.
It's not something that you just automatically click your fingers and can fix. It's something that you work on constantly, and you know, we're never the complete article. We're always, you know, doing the work, and since we've started doing the work, it's been amazing for us.
Yeah. So thanks for being here and investing the time in yourself. If you've got any questions, please send us an email or leave comments below. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the course, and thanks for hearing from us.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.